We're in English Village, which is one of the four villages of Mountain Brook, the city of four villages. Four. You got Main Mountain Brook Village, you've got Crestline, you've got English Village, and you've got Cahaba Heights. I don't generally go outside the city of limits of Birmingham, but I do this because we're surrounded by the city of Birmingham. But I just wanted to point out this is the city of Montgomery, the city of Mountain Brook. Okay, so but I want to stand here. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice? I want to stand here and talk about what we see here, and then we're going to move. We're going to take my car and move up to the top of the ridge beside Vulcan, where you look up and you see those houses up there. Okay. So, what do you see here? I always like to start with that. What do you see here? Where are we? What kind of place are we in? Huh? We're in a commercial place. What kind of commercial place? What do you say? Upscale, you say? How come? Just because I said Mountain Brook?
Even outside of that,
So I shouldn't have said that.
the maintenance and the upkeep is way higher than other areas.
What does that mean? It's cleaned up? Is that what you mean?
The condition of the buildings, yeah.
Condition of the buildings. Okay, well, let's talk about the condition of the buildings. Point out a historic building, a building over 50 years old if you can. And let's look down as far as you can and over.
Is this one?
Okay, and this one, let's cross the street a minute. Let's go. Kind of look around. Tell me what historic buildings you see. We're going to go back over across to. So the question I'm getting at really is this, do you think this is an historic district or eligible? And you're saying no. Why is that? You're a snob, that's why.
Modern.
Modern? You mean new?
Yes.
You mean new?
Or new, yes.
Okay, so that's not a modern style.
Yeah.
It's an historic style, I'd say, right? It's sort of an English Tudor craftsman blend of a style, but you're right, it's not an old building. What else? You said this building was the one we came out of.
Yeah, we're looking at the is that the
Turret?
turret?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's old enough, but if it's
Why not? Do you think it's 50 years old or not?
I feel like it looks like
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a 20s building. Ah, so that's good.
That
In an
one-
Anastasia?
That one looks, I mean, that one looks older.
The tall one there?
Yeah, it looks older.
That's brand new.
Oh, it's brand new. So
It's brand new.
be misleading.
Is
Yeah,
it is it in the style of what else you see or not?
Well, not really. I mean,
I think it is.
Which building
Look,
are we talking about?
the tall building right here, the piano gallery.
Yeah.
it's made of.
I think it fits in.
It fits in. I think it fits in.
Well, it has, but this is more.
This is
wood,
all.
I'm
What
thinking.
style is this?
This is
Yeah, this is very Tudor. What tells you that?
the decorated wood
Yep.
pattern.
The wood cross beams, the turret, the stucco, the steep roof,
So what are the roof
turret.
tiles made of? It's stone.
Those are slate.
Slate.
Yeah, those are slate. That's a good point. That's got slate on it too, even though that's not old building. So they're very much picking up the historic thing. What about this one? Old or new?
It's over 50.
You do this one?
That one looks.
The roof, like that, the dormant corners look like they're more aged, but I think it looks like it's been renovated.
Now-
with
That's
the
some work
windows
done.
from-
It's a new building.
An issue.
It's a new building. It's not a
Oh,
renovated building.
They're not all the same style. This one looks as brick. I'm not.
Well, Okay.
Yeah,
But
well,
I
I
don't
don't-
think that matters.
Okay.
But that is a new building, very much in keeping in style with that one.
Yes, but
But I don't think it's
well,
especially trying to trick you
It's a-
or anything.
it's
It's
a-
just very much in style,
It does
in the
look-
style. Okay, let's go across and get back under there. But as we do it, if you can, without getting run over, what do you say about that turret? Can you see that building enough? Let's walk down there a little bit. I've had no coffee in my mouth, but a lot of it all over me. What about this building here, Bo?
The,
This one here. Is that new, old?
looks new.
It's brand new, but very much in.
Does look like the old. It has some. I mean, it has obviously. It looks like a Tudor style building.
It's
but
a Tudor style building.
Yeah, but the brick, I don't know, something, it just, and also, well, the aluminum windows as well,
Ooh,
that would
there
make me
you
think
go.
that it's,
There
a
you
new
go.
building.
At least I think they're aluminum. I'm not sure from here, but that's a brand new
It looks-
building.
I-
And so, what are the as opposed to where Avondale? Are the builders, the developers here trying to keep a look, or they just throw up whatever? I think they're
trying to
very
keep
much
the
definitely.
maintain the
And
same.
why do you think that is, and not in Avondale in the 70s?
Does this place have money in the 70s and wanted to maintain a certain?
Absolutely, because they could make them, right? They could make them. But in Avondale, anything that wants to be thrown up is going to be all right, right? So poverty matters, right? And when you're in a poor area, state, city, county, the Black Belt of Alabama and Mississippi, anything that wants to come in and provide revenue or anything else, you have very little leverage over it, right? You don't even care. Just come on, right? Okay. And then what about that turreted building down here? We can go under this thing instead of standing out in the street. The one on the corner with the turret. We can all get under here if you want to. Or not. No, I guess we can. What do you say?
That one looks new.
Yeah, it's a newer building, at least 2000s. And can you see through there? Through the alley, Bo, Alyssa, Anastasia, can you see through there? That series of buildings back there. Those are obviously new, I think. I know they're new, but I think they look new. And that high-rise, very expensive condominium project behind, in front of us, the tall building, very much in Tudor. And what were you going to say?
no, yeah, it looks, well, not much except it looks like the brick, right, so they have a mix of wood and brick and.
And that
but
doesn't
in the-
matter.
Okay.
But
General, it's a Tudor. The gables,
What do you
those kind
say?
of gables, those, I mean, it's not exclusively Tudor, but Tudor often has.
yeah, but
I mean, the
but I'm
Gothic-
asking about age now.
Oh, about age.
Is it newer or 50 years or more?
I mean, it has the brick.
Brick
would
isn't
make-
the
would
issue.
Look. Oh, you think there's a problem with the brick?
No, I don't think there's a problem
It does
with brick.
look. It looks older. It doesn't look like that. That building is obviously new. I wouldn't be able to tell. At first glance that this is a newer building. So
It's
it
a
does-
much newer
Ye-
building.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
built in the
wow.
2000s.
Okay. so the-
Again, very much picking up the Tudor. Why do you think they like Tudor here so much? Tudor.
Upper class English.
Yeah, English. Americans like Tudor, English, anything English. It tells you it's upper class, aristocratic, whatever. And of course, the name of this is English Village, going way back. So, why not? It's a historic building there, Tudor revival. And down there we can't quite see, but on the other side, let's go on the other side. We can stand under this awning for a minute. Alyssa, where's Alyssa? What do you think about that series of buildings right down there, the one-stories? The one-story buildings right in here. There's several of them.
Isn't there historic?
Yeah.
The ones further that way look older.
Yeah.
This one on the corner looks younger.
Right, right. So you're right. Those are historic. 2 or 3 buildings right in there. I guess there's 3. I mean, I think there's 4.
One of them doesn't have the
Or,
gable.
or is it 3?
I
Can't
think
quite
1,
tell.
2, 3, 4. I think there's 4, but one of
There
them
may be
doesn't have
4
the
bays,
gable on it.
but I'm not sure
There's
it's 4
what?
buildings.
4
Bays.
Yes.
But I can't tell quite from here, but I think it's 3 buildings. But those are historic, okay?
Looks like the well.
So that one we're looking at, 50s right through there, residential, not commercial. So we're trying to figure out, Anastasia, if this is eligible for the National Register or not. I got one more building on there. What do you think that building is? What do you think it was built as?
Seems like a gallery of some kind.
Gas station maybe?
Gas station.
Oh.
Absolutely. Gas station, I think the date is on there somewhere. Why do you say gas station? What in the world about that building tells you it was a gas station?
The way the roof line is
Yeah.
with the overhang that's
Yeah.
that wide,
Yeah.
I don't really see anything else it could be.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was a gas station. I believe it was built in '54, something like that. The date is on there somewhere. And it was turned into a very high-tone restaurant, excellent restaurant, by the way, but expensive. And then this art gallery. So what is that process called when you take it from a gas station into a restaurant and art gallery in this case?
Rehabilitation.
I don't know about rehabilitation.
Adaptive reuse.
Adaptive reuse is what I was going for. And the reason I say that is because it's not wanting you to think it's a gas station. It doesn't mind if it reads that it once was, but there's so much modern materials on it, I would say it's not exactly rehabilitation, but that's okay. Definitely adaptive reuse. Okay? What time do we have, somebody? Let's see.
It's 10:05.
10:05. Okay. So what we're going to do now. Oh, so back to my question. What do you think? Eligible, not eligible?
No, because of the newer, all of the newer buildings, I don't think it would be eligible.
So what you'd, I don't know.
But,
It'd be tough
It would be-
because,
it depends on if we could get, I don't know if those buildings are older. Those ones look like they could be.
Hen House could be 50 years old. I'm not
So,
sure. So what?
you
So
may be able to get enough. Depending, it would be. I would think it would look like a very
Snaggletooth.
snaggletooth.
So here's the thing: when you do a district, every building in it doesn't have to be historic.
Right,
It
but-
could be what we call non-contributing, meaning less than 50 years old or has so much renovation. That would be non-contributing. But you've got to have, it's a judgment call. You've got to have enough so that whatever boundaries you draw has enough historic buildings. And so maybe you would draw those 3 in, come around across the street maybe, come down here, pick up at the old building there and go across the street. You could, maybe. It would take some arguing, some justification for it. But it's possible, but it's not the best. It's not the best one to work on, I think, because it's got so much new and heavily renovated buildings. But it's possible. Why do you think a gas station's right here in the middle of this she area?
Was it, well, I don't, was this more, did this used to be a lower class, or a poor area?
No.
I think
Well,
it
because-
shows modernity in at a certain time, right?
Well, I think
Well, this area was used to pass from the city of Birmingham to downtown. It was basically a traffic through place. It was still
Yeah.
in Mount Brook and these buildings, but it wasn't primarily for you to stop and shop. Some, it had some 20s Tudor, it had some, but it was very much about traffic through, and I think it had other gas stations here too. Okay, I'm trying to decide. 10:05, you say? Okay, we probably should get in our cars. What I was hesitating about is that there was a woman architect named Carolyn Smith who was the first female architect in the state of Alabama. She never was a registered architect, but she was an architect, okay? And she built these fantastic cut stone, beautiful houses down there. That I would love for you to see because they're just stunning. But I guess we probably don't have time to walk down there, do we, or not?
We have
And then
till
we can ride it.
10:45, 35 minutes.
Okay, let's walk down there. I'd love for you to see these. I had students one time do a paper on her buildings, which I thought about doing with y'all, but
What's her name, Carolyn Smith?
Smith,
Okay.
and she had done a lot of work in, I think, Decatur, Alabama, doing parks and beautiful stuff, a lot of cut stone. But she did these quite a few houses in Birmingham, and I had a student, like I said, one time document her buildings, and I know there was several in Vestavia, built in the 20s by her, and they were buildings that I had noticed before because Vestavia is usually 50s and up. And these buildings always stuck out to me because I liked them a lot, and they were unusual in a modern Vestavia Hills.
Where are they at the stadium?
One of them is on Shades Crest Road, not the piece that goes over Bluff Park, but the other piece. And it'll stick out to you when you see these. And then another one is right behind Highway 31, if you know where the U-Haul is.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's behind there. You can't see it from the street, but when you go back up from there, you'll go, oh, of course, this is it. Okay. We're not going to walk far, but I would like for you to see these. There used to be a tuberculosis sanitarium on this site. And what about Little Hardware, that building? What do you say? I'm glad we're down here. What do you say,
I
Anastasia?
think that's
Historic or
pretty
not?
old.
Yeah.
The windows on the sides
Yeah.
look like.
And let me tell you about the
multiple
windows on the
panes.
side. Well, let's go across. A way you can date buildings again, windows, those are called glass block windows. You see those, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? That you see that you can't quite see through them, they're glass. Some people call them glass brick.
Glass
But
brick or glass what?
block.
Glass block window.
And so when you see those windows, you're looking at 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
And so it's telling you how old it is right there. And so is that old enough to be in a historic district? Yes. And you'll see that it's very much intact, not a lot of renovations. Okay, let's keep walking down here a little bit. this street down here is colloquially called Diaper Road, and it's part of the city of Birmingham. It was developed. I documented all these and did the history of it. You can see the sign there, leaving Mountain Brook, entering the city of Birmingham. So Diaper Row, those houses down there, they're all houses, was built. There were a few 20s, maybe 1910, just a few. Most of them were built post-war, the end of World War II. So 40s, early 50s, that sort of thing. And most of them were built by Grayson Lumber Company. Have you ever heard of Lumber Company? And they're still around. I think there's some sign recently I saw. And Grayson Lumber Company, if you know where Pinson is, not Pinson, Trustful, way out there, kind of north of there, is an area called Grayson Valley. There's a little country club, stuff like that. It's not fancy at all. But it was to my surprise, because I knew something about Grayson and Grayson Valley. They're the ones that built so many of these down here in the 40s and 50s. Why do you think it was called Diaper Row? It's a nickname.
On your families?
Yeah. It's so typically post-World War II. So it was...
Right, that was the baby boom. Yeah,
baby
right,
boom. That's exactly right. And so these were built for families, two-parent families, either with children or expecting to have children, okay? And so it's called Diaper Row because people would say that they would, anytime you went down there, there were lines, clotheslines, and diapers and all, and so it's called Diaper Row. There were a number of prominent architects who designed buildings in there. Here's what's interesting. The other thing to me about Diaper Row is that they're built in the 40s mainly, and they had to decide whether they wanted to be stay in Birmingham, or did they want to join Homewood, or did they want to join Mountain Brook? What do you think they decided?
Mountain Brook?
You would think, no. Stay in Birmingham. Very interestingly, because, we were, like the rest of the country, heavily doing suburbs. And why wouldn't you want to be in Mountain Brook, right? Well, they didn't want to be in Mountain Brook. And so to me, that's a very interesting piece. They had the choice, and they chose to stay in Birmingham. They figured services were too high here. They do fine with services from the city of Birmingham. And so you got this very nice strip there, that row there, that elected in the 40s. It might have been 50s when the vote took place, to stay in the city of Birmingham, where they still are. Remember the man that, not the words forged, what do you do with a bronze statue? You told me the other day. Forge it, cast it. Remember the man that cast the 5 Point South fountain? He lived in here for a long time. Okay, so let's go up a little bit more.
Was that the one that was seen as pagan?
Yeah. And his name was Frank Fleming, internationally famous. So right now we're in the city of Mountain Brook. The zoo and the botanical gardens are in the city of Birmingham. Yep. Yes. And then this one. We'll look at this one because it's just so glorious, I think. So, again, in 5 Point South, I think I referenced the man I used to work for, but that bought the Spanish stores and also where the Pancake House is. in the 80s, and invested in it, designed the interior for Highlands Bar and Grill, and so on and so on. Genius of a designer. He and his wife now live here and have been for 30 years, more, 40. And he is probably 95. There's one of the stone there, but we'll just look at this. And of course, I like to shine a light on minority populations that don't get much play, such as women in the world of architecture. This is one of the Carolyn Smiths. So Anastasia, when you're looking for her houses wherever you are, they'll speak to you. Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I would call it craftsman. Yeah, I would call it craftsman with some Tudor influences. That's what I would say.
You said that one of her houses is in the stadium behind the U-Haul.
Uh-huh.
31.
Uh-huh.
That's where I think that's close to where I live.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, ride by there. Maybe you noticed it, maybe you haven't, but it'll speak to you. So my former boss, they own this house. This is where they live. That's where he has his painting studio here. So they own both. Is that not a terrific house? So that's Carolyn Smith design. Everything about it is just gorgeous to me. And then she built that one over there. And quite a few more that I didn't know about until the student told me about it. She'd be a great master's thesis for somebody, I'll tell you that, because I got her document, all her papers are down at the archives. Historic or not historic? Historic, absolutely. What kind of roof?
Hip.
It's a hip roof. There's another roof called pyramidal, that doesn't have so much of a membrane as a hip. I can't quite tell from here. But it's similar to a hip. But the windows are all original. It's very much, I'm going to say 30s, 40s. Could be 20s though.
It's very, I don't want to say colonial, but it has that kind of four square.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It is a four square. Okay, well let's head back down and we're going to go up on the ridge. We got a little break from the rain. How about that? So this is called the Redmont neighborhood. And I documented probably 700 buildings in the whole area some years ago. Took about 2 years. And a lot of work because there's so much detail on just about every house. There's no cookie cutters. Okay, so look around. My question, my question is, where are we? What kind of place are we in?
Very upper class.
Okay, how do you know that?
The size of the houses and also
Yeah.
the higher up, like over the mountain.
Okay, well you said over the mountain, so
Like,
that's,
on top of the. Yeah.
why does that tell you upper class?
I guess based on the history of Birmingham, I know the richer
Also the
people-
What-
detail.
So you're going on the history, and that's fine, but I kind of want you to just see what you see and tell me about that. But you said upper class, yeah. It's not hard to figure, but I'm just wanting to know why you think what you think when you're in a place. So, yeah, I guess so. And so this also is owned privately by these people, or maybe a collection, but I think it's those people in particular. And so, yeah, if you've got enough money to own a big house like that, build a big, and this with the view, that's pretty good, isn't it? And you did say they were up high, and you're right on it, which is that when this neighborhood was developed in the 1920s, so the progression of Birmingham development goes from 5 points, right? and then it goes along Highland Avenue, where we're also going to go, and comes up, and then at the top of the mountain. So those are earlier neighborhoods. Remember, we had the Queen Anne in 5 Point South, and then Highland Avenue is going to be early 1900s to maybe early 1920s, and then when you come up here, it's mid 1920s, maybe a little earlier to the end of the decade. And so, why don't they build up here in 1900?
Too far away.
It wasn't easy to get up here.
How
No
come?
cars.
No cars.
So it was too hard to get up here. They had to have the engineering capability to get up the mountain, figure out how that was going. Well, where's the streetcar? I don't see it. There ain't no streetcar up here. This is a very exclusive neighborhood. They don't want no stinking streetcar up here. They want no riffraff of any kind ever to be up here. And this is called, on the National Register of Historic Places, this is considered the first fully realized automotive district in the state. This one is about cars. This one is about cars. What else do you think would make a place exclusive? How do you get an exclusive neighborhood? You said something beginning about the lots.
The size of the lot.
Yeah, the size of the lots, the setbacks, and other things. So what this neighborhood did early on, way earlier than the 1960s and 70s when we began to develop those local historic districts, right? Well, in the 30s and 40s, but in Birmingham, the 60s and 70s, where we began to have design guidelines. This neighborhood had design guidelines, and you could not buy a lot in here smaller than a certain size. And you bet you had to build your house a certain distance back from the street, right? So setback. You had to have your materials approved. Hope they're not going to make us go. And so all that happened. Well, we talked about Robert Jemison, I think, the developer, the real estate developer in Birmingham. He developed everything from lots of East Lake to Central Park in the Inslee area to Mount Brook to Redmont to you name it. So he was all over. He was the premier. Well, their design guidelines were so important that Robert Jemison's house that was built here earlier didn't fit with the guidelines. So what do you think happened? They said, oh, well, what are you going to do with the developer, right? What'd they do? They made him tear it down and start over. He had an outbuilding for guests or servants or whatever it was, tear it all down and start over, okay? So that's why this neighborhood looks the way it does, right? So with all that lot size, materials, setback, and exclusivity based on cars and real winding roads. If you don't know where you're going up here, you don't need to be up here, they won't tell you. Because we're going to make it hard for you. And so you got these curvy, winding roads. If you not have business here, you don't need to be here, right? Okay, right behind you is a fantastic house, and that's the McWayne house. You've heard of the McWaynes, haven't you? Science Center, yeah. So that's the McWayne. They had one of the, well, let me stop. This neighborhood was built by the most powerful families in Birmingham, Jefferson County, maybe in the state. The most powerful in Birmingham, no question about it. What businesses do you think these people represent? The most powerful people in Birmingham.
Iron, steel.
Iron and steel. These are the iron and steel barons up here. These are the iron and steel barons. In the 1950s, we had a fascinating and eccentric governor called Jim Folsom, who was quite liberal. He one time famously said to the cameras, to the reporters, The reporter said, "Well, I hear you're a socialist." And he said, "Well, I don't know what a socialist is, but if you want to call me that, that's fine with me." That's in the 1950s in Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay? Jim Folsom was the only Southern governor to refuse to sign when the Southern governors met in Tallahassee just after Brown versus Ford. They met
Southern
there
Manifesto.
to come up with the Southern Manifesto. How are we going to resist this and get around it? Jim Folsom was the only governor, the governor of Alabama, who refused to sign it. He said he would not sign that. This man had guts. Well, he's the one also that coined the phrase, the big mules. These are the big mules. The powerful industrialists and landowners. That's who he's talking about. These are the big mules. They don't like it
Big
when you
what?
call the big mules.
The big mule.
Yeah. So that's a good test question because people usually remember it. So yes, you're exactly right. The big mules represent up here iron and steel, and those businesses associated with them. Chemical engineers, insurance people. We had to have a lot of insurance here. Chemical people to do these. We were very high-tech chemical people. And so I always say, I think I'm the only one that said it, first one that said it. I don't know, but I said it, which is that Birmingham started out high-tech, and it's come full circle. It's now high-tech again with UAVs, right? We think of it as kind of this, in the interim, as a kind of a crummy, dirty place, right? Bigoted. But we started out high-tech. We've come full circle with high-tech again. What kind of design is that, Alyssa? The McQueen house.
They have some of the two-door with the turret. And
Yep.
then, yeah, I would say it leans more towards two-door.
This is very much English Tudor. The turret tells you that. The arches tell you that.
What do you call that thing on top of the?
I'm about to tell you.
Yes.
On the chimney.
Yeah.
And remember, English Tudor loves an exterior big chimney. They like that too.
Yeah.
So that house I was pointing at is considered a very good style of example of Italianate. But why I pointed out is that was the home of. Do you remember when we were downtown and we saw the Steiner Bank? That's the Mr. and Ms. Steiner's house. They were Jewish. What does that say to you, if anything?
There's room for religious. There's some room for.
I don't know what you mean by room.
cultural
What you mean by room?
Diversity. What do you,
Well, I
there
mean,
was
there-
a variety of.
There were no
They-
covenant. There were no covenants in the city of Birmingham against Jews building where they wanted to. That's not true up in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Up in New York, Connecticut, oh no, big time covenants. So that tells you something about the South that maybe you didn't think of.
Were they considered white or?
Well, that's an interesting thing. They were certainly considered minorities and not WASPs. But remember in Alabama, in the Deep South, legally, you were either white or black. And you certainly wanted to be white. That's where all the privileges
You
are.
said Steiner lived in this house.
No, I called you my boyfriend. Anyway, no, you're Patrick. No, I didn't say that. The house I was pointing at when we were riding,
Yeah.
right?
That was built by them.
Steiner, yes. And so I'm trying to make the point of that. There weren't those covenants. And many places outside the South had strict covenants. And you ask if he would have been considered white legally and socially, but suspicious, because of the Jewishness. Yeah. Well, I wanted you to see this house. This has got to be one of my favorite houses ever. And all of these great big houses, the owners called them their summer cottages. So they call this their summer cottage. What style is it, Patrick?
It is a. It has those. Maybe Tudor. It has
Tudor.
those high gables?
It's very much Tudor.
Okay.
A dramatic chimney, not exterior chimney, but still a dramatic chimney. The pointed gables everywhere. They're not that pointed to make them Gothic, but that's very much a Tudor style house. Let's come around here. And I've been in this house quite a few times. It's gorgeous. Overlooks, they own this property here, and she's a master gardener. So if you come up here in the spring or something, it's glorious. So this is the back of the house, which overlooks. And what I was going to say to you about this house, too, there is still one servant's house in the back. There used to be two. Maybe there's still two. I'm not sure. But they had two full-time landscapers. How many of you have one full-time landscaper that lives? No. Two full-time landscapers and other servants. That wasn't unusual. They have this early built-in garage, right? These houses were built in the 20s. So that's a very early garage. And this house belongs to the DeBardlebens. Have you ever heard that name? If you're around Birmingham history much, DeBardleben is a big name. DeBardleben, how about Pratt? As in Prattville, Pratt City. So Henry Pratt was an antebellum genius, and he was a big slave owner, but he thought, you know what, I bet slaves could do industrial tasks, because the common understanding was that Africans were built for agricultural labor, the end. But Henry Pratt said, no, you know what, I think they could do industrial. And so he set out to prove that. And he built cotton gins and had his slaves do the cotton gins, industrial labor. He became the largest producer of cotton gins in the world, right? He's a big deal. Well, his son, I may get some of this a little bit off, but it was one of the Pratts who married a DeBardleben. They had the money. DeBardleben was also a antebellum family. They got married and situated themselves up here, right, after the Civil War, to start over, do those things. So that's who DeBardleben is, who built this house. Well, the DeBardlebens had a bad reputation for the way they treated their workers in the mines, that sort of thing. And at some point in the early 1930s, I believe, one of the DeBardlebens was indicted for murder, murdering a union organizer, okay? And that was dangerous business, being a union organizer. And this happened in Argo, Alabama, if you know where that is. I think it's towards Springville, Shelby, St. Clair County. And so he was acquitted, duh. But what it did was to trigger a U.S. congressional investigation into the practice of industrialists in Birmingham. And they did, and to no surprise, they said it's bad. It's real bad. They're very exploitive. It's very dangerous, oppressive, so on and so forth. So we're just going to walk a little bit up here if you can. Anybody got to go? We can have another 10 minutes or something? Okay. So we'll walk up here. And when we come back, we'll look at these couple of houses, because you'll see some good examples of federal revival, federal style, which you don't see a lot of, colonial style, that sort of thing, right through here in these brick houses. And so when we get through, we'll drive through here. And when we get up here, I'll just want to ask you where you think you are. And when the sign says these gates close, it's a private neighborhood. They close, and you don't come up here. Do they have a right to do that? Of course they do. It's private property. We didn't even talk about what you see over there. What do you see over there? Of the view. What are we looking at? We're looking at the whole of Birmingham, downtown Birmingham, and then out. So when you stand here, remember Birmingham is built in a valley, Jones Valley, from east to west. So we're looking north now. That's east to west. So you can see the whole city there. And come this way a little bit. When you look out over there, over in there, I don't know if, let's see if we can see it better a little bit further up. You can definitely see the interstates. Who would like to live up here? I would. It's just so gorgeous. So look out there. You see all those red brick buildings down in there? What is that? It's UAB.
Yes.
It's UAB. So over here you can see Sloss furnaces. See that? And it used to be furnaces up and down. And then you get over here and you see this huge mass of buildings. What is that? That's UAB. And of course, they're the largest employer in the state. Okay, so these are private homes. This one. So does this little road remind you of anything, make you think of anything? Let's say maybe from movies. What does it remind you of? Reminds me of an English lane. It's very narrow. It's got this little rock wall. It's very exclusive. Huge. Tudor Revival, all kinds. Now you can see why it took me so long to stand and describe these buildings in detail. It's exhausting. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at one place. Oh, that's a good thing.
It's near the Stavia Baptist Church.
Yeah.
That,
Oh, yeah.
that strip.
Absolutely. Beautiful stuff. And then what about this house? What do you think?
Kind of Victorian.
Victorian. What in the world would a Victorian house be doing up here? What's your
I don't
answer?
want to say Greek revival, but it has some. I mean, those columns.
New or old? Yeah, it's very new. 2000s. That's a very new house. I'm not sure where you got Victorian from, but it doesn't matter. A real Victorian house would be, whoa, where'd that come from? Because they couldn't even get up here until the 20s or so. But the point being that it's a brand new house. Does it fit in with the others or not? What do you think? You don't like it?
It's like a mishmash of different elements that don't really make any sense visually.
Say that again.
It's got like a mishmash of different elements that don't really make sense visually.
Okay. Well, I don't know about that. I'd much rather have the historic house. I can't even remember now what it looked like.
It is 11 now.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, we will head back down. Thank you, Patrick. So I don't love it, but it is the size and scale they got right. You know, it's okay. I'm sure it's grand. On the way out up the other little lane, where I was pointing to the Steiner house, and as you came around, did y'all happen to see the great big houses on your right in the backyard with the statues and everything? Yeah.
The garden.
Yeah.
So they had a sign on it.
And there's a guest house back there that would easily sleep a family of 8 of us. But yeah, this one's got all kinds of detail. And Patrick, I'd say it's got craftsman elements for sure, but also it's a kind of a blend of Tudor and
It's very-
craftsman.
Right, yeah, it's not craftsman.
You see
per
those?
se.
You see those knee braces under there? That's very craftsman.
Yes.
And some of the other things, but a lot of Tudor stuff too. Oh yeah, I do too. Another one over there. Yeah, that exterior chimney is very Tudor. Now I get to eat my scone, Alyssa. So I can't remember where we're going next week. It's on your syllabus, but I'm sure I'll remind you. There's so many other houses in this neighborhood that'll just knock your socks off. And I usually for some reason I didn't take that same route. That's okay. You get the idea. Somebody was asking me about generational wealth. Was it you? Yeah. And, so this is a neighborhood in Birmingham that's never, ever suffered decline. And it's about the only one that haven't suffered any.